questions about horse boarding in Middle Tennessee?
Welcome back to Trot Talk, where we can provide you all the ins and outs of horse ownership here in Tennessee. I'm Kristen Roberts, and this is Trisha Summers, and we are horse owners, farm owners, competitors, and professional real estate agents here in the area.
Today, we join you from Thompson Station, where we're going to speak with Laura of Laura Schuster Show Horses about boarding and lessons here in Middle Tennessee.
Hi, Laura. So we know that you've been in the horse boarding and horse training business for about 35 years. Can you give us a little bit of your background and story of how you got started?
Well, I basically started in 4-H as a kid, like most of us. I grew up in northeastern Ohio, and so everybody up there did 4-H. And then it just kind of evolved that people just kind of kept asking me if I would work with their horses or help with their kids or whatever. And then in 89, I moved down here. And same thing kind of happened. People were just like, hey, and I worked for a church that had a riding program.
Oh, that's
And then
so cool.
it just evolved into me having my own barn.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Laura, can you talk to us a little bit about boarding options in the area and level of care that people can expect?
Well, I can speak for kind of like what we do here. We're what I can kind of consider like a mid-tier barn. So we're not like the upper level where there's a lot of grooms and there's a lot of like really intense care. We have good care. It's kind of a medium rate for people to come in and board. We don't offer pasture board at this location, mostly because we don't have any shelters in the fields. So we're not going to leave horses outside, without shelter. So we offer basic board is basically just all the horse's main needs. We do all the feeding. We supply the hay. We supply the shavings. We clean the stalls daily. Our board doesn't include any kind of exercising or lessons. That would always be an additional cost.
Okay.
Your vet, your farrier, that's always going to be an additional cost.
Okay.
I don't really know many barns that operate differently than that.
Sure.
We do handle the vet appointments. Like we have our vet here today doing vaccines. Owners don't have to be here. And then you have like a lower level tier of boarding where either people are doing their own self-care or maybe they are pasture boarding. And so people that need to really be on a budget, there are some places in this area that I know that kind of offer that for those people. And then we have the really upper tiers that are well over $1,000 a month, and and everything is handled, and and then you can get into like surcharges where we don't charge surcharges. We don't charge for blanketing. We don't charge extra for single turnout. We just have a basic board fee and we cover everything.
The horse's needs. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about your amenities? Because you have a lot of amenities that people ask for, trail riding, your areas where people can ride their horses, etc.
So we don't really cater to any one specific breed or any certain type of riding. So we have people that like to just arena ride, and so we have a really nice covered arena that allows people to ride all the time. And then we have some, I don't know if you would say they were trails, but there's a lot of property here. And we're lucky because we can get the horses out and we can walk them around the property and get them out of the arena. Most of the horses here are show horses, so they're kind of, princesses. They don't want to get out and, really hit the heavy trails.
That's right.
They just want to kind of do, some light trail riding. But we have those options to do both. So we've got the covered arena, like I said, and it has lights and people can ride outside, but we don't really have an outdoor arena.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is great.
it works. Yeah, it
sure.
works for us. And you can ride in the fields. We have some people that go out and hack in the fields too. So
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what about lesson program? Do you have a lesson
we do
program?
have a lesson
Okay.
program, and I offer lessons to both my boarders that are here and then outside people. We're kind of a unique barn because we're kind of a private public barn. So we're not just open to general public.
Right.
It's, it's not invitation only, but it is kind of a private type situation. So lesson people can come in and take a lesson on one of our school horses. And some of my boarders will also offer their horses for lesson availability at times when they can't ride.
Oh,
So
that's great.
it's
Awesome.
yeah, it's a real kind of community thing here
Yes.
where we kind of help each other and kind of help keep everybody's horses exercised and stuff like that.
Is it beginner lessons and up to advanced
I
lessons?
will take everybody from beginner students. I do have a couple that are special needs.
Okay.
I will take beginner adults, children, and then we've shown up to the world, as Tricia knows, we've shown
Yeah.
up to the world. And so we can take everybody all the way up through if they want to get really serious.
Okay.
And do competing.
Now, I know I get this question a lot. What's the youngest child you will take?
I really prefer that they're in school.
Okay.
So like 5-ish.
Okay.
Because of the attention, it's hard to kind of keep the little
attention
ones.
span.
And also, I don't feel that it's really fair to charge somebody, what I have to charge per hour to give a
Yeah.
lesson. I don't really feel like a pony ride
Yeah.
is really worth somebody's money.
No,
and
I agree.
You kind of sometimes feel like when they're young, that's kind of all you're doing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I just explain to people that we just don't take them until they're in school.
Okay.
And I know Laura's really great about doing teaching kids and adults alike groundwork and how to deal with their horses from the ground, like the basics going up through, which is important.
Yeah, I feel like that's super important because, I had an old cowboy tell me one time that if you can't handle your horse on the ground, you're not going to be able to handle it
I love
in the
that.
saddle. Right?
Yeah.
Perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I've had boarders come with horses that have been difficult, and so we've worked together working on ground manners and just, let's face it, we have to remind these guys to behave,
Yeah.
right? They're big toddlers.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So we want to keep everybody safe.
Yep.
We want to make sure that we have good citizens, meaning our horses are good citizens in the barn, and that no one has to worry, no one has to be fearful. And so we do a lot of intensive groundwork, and then we get into showmanship, which gets into showing and stuff like that. But it's really important, and it's also really important, I feel, that kids, owners that are, older, whatever, anybody that's coming into the discipline new, learns also about taking care of their tack, how to properly care for their horse. I feel like a lot of that ground stuff is just kind of missed, and we're not paying attention to that as being horse owners.
Sure. That's great. And I know that you guys have a great sense of family and community here. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you foster that?
So we do. We don't make our boarders help in the barn, but we're okay with it if somebody wants to pick their stall or somebody wants to help us feed hay or something like that. We kind of feel like if everybody gets to share in some of the stuff that they want to do, they feel like they're more part, like it's our barn instead of just my barn. And then we had a big Halloween party. We dressed up all the horses.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and I'm lucky because I live on the farm and there's a big pool. So we have pool parties in the summertime. So we try to do non-horse related events for everybody so that they can come, they can bring their husbands, they can, bring their kids or non-horsey people. And we do trivia. Sometimes we meet at restaurants and do trivia together. So there's more to it than just coming, riding your horse and going home. It is kind of a social thing.
Yeah, you're creating a community, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're a barn family.
Yeah, I love that.
That's great. That's awesome. Okay, Laura, I know that we talked a little bit about diversity in your barn earlier. So tell us a little bit more about that, because you have all sorts of different horses in here, not just one discipline, right?
We do. So some of the boarding barns in this area are more specific to a certain kind of riding. They might be just simply a hunter barn, or maybe they just do dressage, which then their facility kind of accommodates just those disciplines. This barn is very diverse. We have people that ride English, we have people that ride Western, and so but there's a big selection of barns in this Middle Tennessee area that will offer both specific needs if you want to just ride dressage and you want that type of facility, or a barn like mine that kind of fits everybody and they can just come and ride. They can have a quarter horse, they can have an Appaloosa, they can have a Morgan. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's a good area for people to come into and be able to pick what kind of barn they want to board at.
That's
Awesome.
fantastic. I think a lot of people are looking for that because they don't want to just be secluded if they do ride a certain way.
Exactly. And I mean, we have people that ride dressage that don't prefer to be just at a dressage barn.
Yeah.
So they can ride dressage here if they want to. And we love it because we like to watch the other disciplines and people. It also gives you that community feeling because you're not just kind of being like, well, Western's better than English or this
Exactly.
is better
Yep.
than that. Everybody starts to understand more what every discipline offers to the horse because ultimately that's what it's about is just the horse.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much,
No
Laura.
problem.
Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm Kristen Roberts, and we're here with Tricia Summers and Laura Schuster for her boarding facility. We appreciate you being here with us today, Laura. And yeah, tune in, follow, and like our page. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a great day.